Tune into Nice Radio every Saturday at 7:30 a.m. for A View from the Outside, hosted by Brereton Horne. A View from the Outside takes a look at key issues affecting St. Vincent and the Grenadines and gives a global perspective on how these issues are viewed. Host Brereton Horne will examine a variety of topics to enlighten, stimulate debate, and explore solutions. Hear the facts, hear the real-life stories, hear A View from the Outside. Join Brereton Horne at 7:30 a.m. every Saturday on Nice Radio for A View from the Outside.
This society needs a spectacle. It might help us to see some people.
On A View from the Outside this week being the 6th of March 2021, we look at choose, 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 with the view being that the onus is on all Vincentians to look rationally at things which are happening on an everyday basis and to choose the best option for the development and future of the country and all of its people. The Cambridge Dictionary states that to choose is to decide what you want from two or more possibilities. That definition tells us that when you choose, you are the one to make that decision. When you choose, nobody else makes that decision for you. It is with that in mind, and in honor and solidarity of International Women's Day 2021, that we, here on A View from the Outside, have chosen to cover this topic today. International Women's Day is the day when people all over the world celebrate the achievements of women and make the case for more to be done for the empowerment of women. International Women's Day 2021 is on Monday the 8th of March. The theme for this year is Choose to Challenge, and there's a hashtag Choose to Challenge. This is the year that all are being encouraged to choose to challenge. And in line with that theme, the following is what the organizers have said. And I quote, "A challenged world is an alert world. Individually, we are all responsible for our own thoughts and actions, all day, every day. We can all choose to challenge and call out gender bias and inequality. We can all choose to seek out and celebrate women's achievements. Collectively, we can all help to create an inclusive world. From challenge comes change. So let's all choose to challenge." Unquote. Yes, indeed. A challenged world is an alert world. So the question is, how alert are you? How willing are you to choose to challenge? Will you choose to challenge the ills which women and girls are faced with in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Or will you choose to resort to remaining silent on the various issues? Will you choose to speak up and speak out about domestic violence and abuse, which primarily beset women and girls in the country? Will you choose to condemn rape and sexual assault? Will you choose to denounce and decry the rape culture, which experts have said exists in the country? Or will you choose to turn a blind eye and say nothing about it? Will you choose to challenge to get protection for young girls? Will you choose to agitate on their behalf to have the prevalence of child pregnancy and childbirth eradicated? Will you choose to expose and condemn people trafficking, to stop women and girls from being put through unbearable and in many cases unimaginable and painful experiences? Or will you continue to choose to accept it as part of life in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Will you choose to speak up and expose the indignity which you know women subject themselves to in the hope that they get a job, a promotion, or a scholarship? Or will you choose to remain selfish and say nothing just because you think you're benefiting from the perpetrators? Will you choose to challenge those who choose to condemn our women, those who denigrate and degrade them, including on the airwaves? Or will you choose by your silence and inaction to endorse them? Women, this one is specifically for you. Will you choose to join in with those who pull down your fellow women, who agitate and speak up for others? Or will you choose to support and encourage and uplift other women who choose to make the effort to thrive? What will you choose? Will you choose to get involved and be a mentor, a role model to the women and girls of the country so that they can enhance themselves socially and psychologically to make themselves more employable without having to surrender their dignity? Will you choose to assist in teaching young mothers the requisite skills to become better mothers? After all, better mothers, more often than not, mean better children, which in turn means a better future for the country, a better future for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is often said, not without merit, that our women and girls are our greatest resource. That being so, there is no doubt that the women and girls of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will benefit immensely if you choose to take action, if you choose to challenge on their behalf. Choosing to remain silent in the face of suffering and oppression, or appearing to be neutral, is not a choice which the women will appreciate. It was Desmond Tutu who said, and I quote, "If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. If an elephant has its foot on the tail of a mouse and you say that you're neutral, the mouse will not appreciate your neutrality." Unquote. In the same way, if you choose to remain neutral in the face of what befalls the women and girls of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you can be certain that the women and girls will not appreciate your neutrality. There are so many other things which we can introduce into the discussion today. For example, we can ask you whether you will choose to continue to accept the broken 20-year-old promise of the introduction of integrity legislation, or whether you will choose to agitate and challenge for its introduction, because after all, women are adversely affected by the lack of integrity legislation in the country. We can ask you whether you will choose to believe the various lies, knowing what the actual truth is. Or we can ask you whether you will choose to say, like the late author and activist James Baldwin said, and I quote, he said, I quote, "I can't believe what you say because I see what you do." Will you say like James Baldwin? We can ask you whether you will choose to protect the future of the country or whether you will choose not to care. Will you choose to challenge the authorities on their failure and deficiency in their handling of COVID-19? Will you choose to challenge them on what many describe as the inhumane way they have treated the occupants at the mental health center, where it is reported that scores of the occupants have fallen victims of COVID-19? Or will you continue to scoff at the mentally ill in the belief that their lives are not worth defending? And how about the COVID-19 vaccine? Will you choose to do your research and do what is right for you? Or will you choose to deride those who choose to take it or those who don't? Will you choose to challenge and agitate for better healthcare, or will you choose to continue to accept what is dished out at you? Will you choose to challenge and demand better public health services, or will you continue to accept the stench, disrepair, and degradation in Kingstown and around the country? Of course, those are all pertinent to the discussion. However, as we said above, today's program is in recognition of International Women's Day and in honor and solidarity of women. Today is a day when we encourage you to choose to challenge. We encourage you to continue to challenge. Question yourself. What will you choose to challenge? And as you make the decision to choose to honor and celebrate our women and to challenge, let us all bear in mind the words of the American author John Calvin Maxwell, who said, and I quote, "We choose what attitudes we have right now, and it's a continuing choice." Until next week, Justin and all of the listeners, this is Brereton Horne with A View from the Outside, with a reminder to send your feedback as usual to aviewfromtheoutside@hotmail.com. We also invite you to visit and like our Facebook page at A View from the Outside, and also visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel at JMB Horne. Have a pleasant Saturday, a wonderful Sunday, and a productive week ahead as we encourage everyone to take the decision on behalf of women and choose to challenge.